Hi, I'm Jeremy Simon, one of the volunteers with the e-NABLE community, and today I wanted to talk to you about a new platform that we are evaluating as a possible replacement for the Wikifactory platform. So let's take a look at where we stand. Currently, our e-NABLE resources are spread across a number of different sites. We have enablingthefuture.org, we have enablewebcentral.com, we have enable.org, and we have Wikifactory. And it's become rather confusing for people who are trying to find certain types of information, and it's also become very difficult to maintain the information that's spread across all these sites and keep everything in sync. So we started exploring alternatives to see if we could find one platform that could provide a social community as well as a consolidated set of resources so that we have everything in one place and everything is easier to maintain and keep up to date. So the proposed infrastructure would look more like this. We would have a front page at enable.org, which would tell a clear and concise story about e-NABLE, and it would have information about where to go and how to get involved, and it would then link people over to this new platform, which we're calling the e-NABLE Hub. And the e-NABLE Hub is the primary site that would be used for collaboration and messaging, as well as for providing most of our informational resources all in one place. That site could then link off to the other sites as needed. So if we do need to send people over to the blog stories on enablingthefuture.org or send people over to Enable Web Central, we would link to those resources from the e-NABLE Hub. So let's go ahead and take a look at this platform. To get started, you're going to go to hub.enable.org. That's going to take you to this welcome page where you can find an introduction to the platform, an overview of how it works. There's a link right here to a Getting Started tour that will actually walk you through and show you different aspects of the platform and how it works. That might be useful. There's an overview of what each of the different items in the upper menu bar here are for. There's some information about setting up your profile and how to customize your notifications and alerts, and some links to some of the key e-NABLE resources within this platform that you might find useful. And then there's some next steps down here about where you might want to go after you've read through this introductory information. So please do take the time to read through this welcome page. It will help you to get oriented with the platform. But I'll give you a little tour here so that you know how this works. Now, some of the content within the e-NABLE Hub is public, which means you can see it regardless of whether or not you're signed in. Like right now, I am not signed into the platform, but I can still see this welcome page, and several of our other informational resources are also publicly available to anybody without signing in. But if you want to take full advantage of the platform and be able to post messages and interact with other volunteers and access some of the other content that isn't publicly available, you'll want to create an account and sign in for yourself. So up here in the upper right, you'll see a button that says Sign In/up, and if you click there, you'll have options for signing in. You'll notice that there is an option to sign in using Google authentication or Facebook authentication. And if you click this little down arrow here, you'll also see an option for LinkedIn authentication. And those options allow you to create an account using your existing Google or Facebook or LinkedIn authentication. You also have the option of signing in with a standard email address or username and a password. So in order to create a new account so that you can sign in, you'll either want to click on one of the social icons to authenticate that way, or click here where it says New User and type in your email address. That's going to send you an email with a link that you then click in order to finish setting up your profile. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and sign in. So now I'm signed in and I have full access to the platform. Now, the most important thing to understand about this platform is that content is organized into what are called spaces. So right now, we're sitting in the e-NABLE forum space, and you can see that by the title that's up here at the top. The space is the sort of container that allows us to share different types of content. So the e-NABLE forum is our primary space for social interactions. This is where we can exchange messages, ask questions, and that sort of thing. And it also has some of our key informational resources. So within each space, over here on the left side, you have a space menu. And the items that you're seeing here in the space menu are what are called modules. Modules are what allow us to put different types of content within a space. So the top module that you see here, which is called the stream, is the social component. And that's part of every single space by default. Any space that we create automatically has a stream. So just like on Facebook, you can just click here where it says what's on your mind, and you can just type something and submit to share it. Clicking the little gear symbol over here gives you additional options like making it public or private. You can add topics, and you can choose whether or not to notify members when you post something. You can also attach files to a post if you care to share something like that. Some of the other things that you see here are e-NABLE newsletters. That's an archive of our previous email newsletters, so you have easy access to those right here within the e-NABLE Hub. The e-NABLE Designs reference actually links over to a different space called e-NABLE Devices, and that's where we have reference information about all of our various designs, and I'll show that to you in a short while. Welcome just takes you back to that welcome page that we were on previously. Gallery is a photo gallery where we can share photos. So I've created a couple of default galleries here, an e-NABLE gallery for sort of general e-NABLE photos, and e-NABLE recipients where we can share photos of recipients wearing our e-NABLE devices. Link list is another kind of module that allows us to share lists of links to other resources. So these are some of the more common informational resources that you might find useful, and it will just link you off to those various resources by clicking on those links. Polls is a place where we can do polls to ask questions. So you simply ask a question, and then you provide a number of different possible answers that people can use as voting options. And then you can choose whether or not somebody can have multiple answers. So if you check this box, somebody can then choose multiple answers. If you don't check this box, then people can only choose one answer. And then when you ask this question, it'll create a poll where people can sort of vote and provide feedback. Now, it's not as full-featured as the Lumio platform that we're currently using, so we're not suggesting this as a replacement for that platform, but it is a really nice way of just asking questions and getting feedback from members of the community. The wiki is exactly what the name suggests. This is a fully editable wiki where we can easily share information. In this case, within the e-NABLE forum, we have getting started information, so that would be things like the welcome page that we looked at before, about e-NABLE, the code of conduct, safety guidelines, how to get started as a volunteer, how to obtain an e-NABLE device, and the e-NABLE Hub privacy policy. And then there's some other additional informational resources down below. So the wiki is very easy to edit, it's very easy to update, and from within a wiki we can link off to other types of resources, link to other pages, so it's a great way of sharing information within a space. So again, everything that we've looked at so far is within the e-NABLE forum space. And for most volunteers, this is where you'll spend most of your time. Within the stream section here, again, is where most of our social interactions will occur. But there are lots of other spaces available depending on the types of information you're looking for. So up here on the main menu, you'll see on the right this thing called directory. If you click on that, you'll see that there is a searchable directory that can show you groups. So here you see the different groups and who are the members of those groups, broken down by the different types of roles within the community. You also have the members directory itself. So this is the same information basically, just not divided by groups. Here you can search for specific members and look at their profiles, and you can choose to follow specific members if you're interested in keeping track of their activities and the content they post. And then you have a directory of the different spaces. So there are official e-NABLE spaces, there are chapter spaces, and there are volunteer spaces. So official e-NABLE spaces is a good place to start. Here you'll find some of the key resources. Everyone who joins the e-NABLE Hub will automatically be added to 3 spaces: the e-NABLE Forum, the e-NABLE Digital Badge Awards, and e-NABLE Devices. But you're welcome to join any of these other spaces if it's information that you're interested in. So we have one, for example, for the Strategic Planning Committee, where we share our meeting recordings and notes. There's a project here called Measuring Our Impact that you might have seen previously on Wikifactory. This is something that relates to collecting information about the work that e-NABLE is doing and providing statistics and results of research about the impact that our community is having. There's a space for e-NABLE chapter leaders where they can collaborate about the work they're doing within their chapters and share resources with one another. There's lots of other spaces, so feel free to browse here and join or follow any of the spaces that you're interested in. Whatever spaces you do choose to join will appear up here on the My Spaces menu. So right now I only have 3 spaces showing, but whatever other spaces I choose to join will also show up here in this menu. You'll also see that you have an option to create a new space down here. Normal volunteers will only have the option to create a volunteer space, and this is where you can create a space for yourself if you want to, for example, share information about a project that you're working on or share stories about some of your activities. If you're a chapter leader, you'll also see an option to create a chapter space. And if you're one of our e-NABLE Hub administrators, you'll have an option to create an official space as well. Now, in addition to being able to create your own space, you also have your own profile space. So by clicking on your name in the upper right corner and going to My Profile, this is basically your own private space. And here you can share updates by simply posting here within your space on your own stream. You have an About page where you can share information about yourself, and you can add other modules as you see fit. So for example, I chose to add the Wiki module here, but I have not yet added any content. So in this space, you have the ability to share content of your own and customize this however you like, and then other users can choose to follow your own profile space to see the information that you're sharing. Another item that you'll see up here in the main menu is the dashboard. If you go to the dashboard, what you'll find is basically a collective stream of all of the updates and content from all of the spaces that you have chosen to join. So the dashboard is a really handy place to go to just see whatever's been happening lately and what has been posted across any of the spaces that you're following. Over here under Latest Activities on the right side, it gives you a sort of a shorthand version of whatever activities have happened lately, of who's done what and who's created what types of updates and new content. It's helpful to note that if you post something from here on the dashboard, that post is not going to go into the e-NABLE forum. That post is actually going to go into your private profile stream. So this might not be the best place to post things if it's intended for discussion or for other volunteers to see. Instead, you'll want to go back over to the e-NABLE forum and then post a message in the stream there. That's, again, kind of the primary social area for the community, is the e-NABLE forum. Another item you'll find up here in the main menu is e-NABLE chapters. So if you go there, you'll find at the top instructions for how to set up a new chapter. And then if you scroll down, you'll see our e-NABLE chapters map and details below about the chapters that are shown in the map. So you can simply browse around using the map. You can drill into a certain region in order to find chapters within that area. And whichever area you're looking at on the map, you will find those detailed down here below. Now I'll show you a couple of examples of some of the informational pages that can be found on this site. So under the My Spaces menu, we'll go ahead and take a look at e-NABLE devices. And this takes you to a wiki page that has all of the information about our current e-NABLE designs, and it's organized in a nice handy outline format, as you can see. So up at the top is Getting Started information. For example, which design has information about what type of design would be best for different types of limb differences. And then we have other information such as sizing guidance, hardware sources, tips for successful prints, etc. Then below that we have all of the different designs organized by category. So we have hand designs, arm designs, and other designs. And if you go to any one of these, you'll see a very consistent format where you get a picture of the device, description, and then down at the bottom you have links to the STL files, to the source CAD files if those are available, a link to instructions, a link to an assembly materials kit if one is available, and links to video tutorials. So you have everything that you need to get started with that design. And if we go and look at the other designs, you'll see that it's a very consistent format. They're all organized the same way so that you have the exact same information in the same format, so everything is easy to find. To give you another example, we can go and take a look at the badging pages. And here you'll see, just like what you saw before on Enabling the Future, you have badges divided into different categories. And if we click on one of these categories, for example, the community role badges, that'll take you to a page that has details about the badges that are available and the evidence requirements for each one. And you'll notice that now, because this is a wiki, over on the right side we have a nice handy outline menu that allows you to quickly jump to the content that you're interested in. So it makes it a lot easier to find what you're looking for. So that's the platform in a nutshell. I hope you will join and create an account for yourself and help us to test it out and share your feedback. To do that, just go to the main space, the e-NABLE forum, and again, right here in the stream, which is the default page that you come to, you can just post a message right here. So go ahead and post something to give us your feedback, let us know what you think about the platform, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.